Hi, welcome back to another segment of informed consent for Jamille Wellness Counseling. This is part of this part. Really elucidates. It really makes clear what Yoga Nidra is. So it's just one paragraph here in the informed consent, but I probably will go on about it for a while because I love it. So Yoga Nidra is a guided meditation of breath and body sensing that asks the participant to simply lay down in any position comfortable, choice to sit as well, and listen to the facilitator's instructions. So let's start there. So traditional yoga nidra. So yoga means union, nidra means sleep. So it is this union of individual consciousness with higher consciousness in this sort of sleep state. But it's not sleep. It's a liminal space. We're really hanging out in the hypnagogic or hypnopompic state. So hypnagogic between waking and sleeping, and then hypnopompic between sleeping and waking. So those two in between spaces, these liminal spaces, is really where we're encouraging our awareness to go. Now, traditional yoga nidra is done in the corpse position, shavasana, laying on your back with shoulder blades tucked, arms arms to the side, palms up, legs out, easy, hip width distance apart. Now, because I do trauma informed yoga, I'm going to encourage my clients and any people in these experiential skills groups to take whatever shape feels good for them. And it can change throughout the practice. So I understand that finding safety and stillness can be something that is challenging for people. And so we're going to take this slowly and we're going to build capacity to be with and to be still and to override those, to create new neuronal pathways that, laying down and being still is safe. So, because for people who have who've experienced abuse, primarily sexual abuse, right? Laying down and being still can be very triggering. So, just want to normalize and validate that. Yeah, so Yoga Nidra is a beautiful practice where we learn to cultivate this interoceptive awareness. So exteroception is the dealing with the senses. What do I see, hear, taste, smell, feel? And interoceptive awareness is what's happening with bodily sensations. Can I feel my breath moving? Can I feel it at my nose? Can I feel my jaw? What's relaxed, tighten, stomach, belly, pelvic bowl even. So, yeah, Yoga Nidra is a beautiful, and it's that whole limb of yoga called pratyahara. So removal of the senses, and people who float and like they used to be called sensory deprivation tanks, but sensory isolation tanks, or simply tanking the big sort of chamber box, if you will, that really helps us negate our exteroceptive awareness. So, meaning it's black inside of the float chamber, and so if your eyes are open or closed, it doesn't matter because it's all just black, and you're hearing. You put earplugs in your ears and the water kind of comes above your ears anyway, so you're really taking that element of hearing out. And because we're floating in a super saturated salt solution, just Epsom salt, but super saturated solution, so the amount of salt makes your body float, and so then, and because it's at body temperature, then we're losing that tactile differentiation. So we're really blurring the boundary, right, of skin, of us and other, or skin and water. And so, yeah, all that to say that there are other ways to cultivate pratyahara, or this interoceptive awareness. I just want to say that Andrew Huberman with the Huberman podcast, Huberman Lab podcast, right? He calls Yoga Nidra non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. So he is trying to deculturate. I don't know if that's even a word, but he's trying to make it accessible really by relabeling it. It's what Jon Kabat-Zinn did with mindfulness. Mindfulness came out of Buddhist practices, and so he then called it mindfulness-based stress reduction, and that was much more palatable for us Westerners. So that's okay. And the fact that they give full credit to this lineage and these practices are thousands of years old, right? So 5,000 evidence of these practices being done in the Vedas and the Upanishads and these ancient yogic texts. So anyhow, but I appreciate the repackaging if it makes people do the practice, right? And he says it's been effective, efficacious in decreasing stress and increasing feelings of well-being by helping the nervous system switch into a parasympathetic state. That's true. It also has been known to show increase in cognition or cognitive abilities. But if you really think about it, anytime you're decreasing stress and jumping into that, or accessing that parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to have more access to the prefrontal cortex. And so when we're stressed in fight and flight, we don't have as much access to our higher brain functioning, right? We're more in flight and fight, and then shut down dorsal vagal. So I know I've talked about this in different segments of the video. So I think I'm going to do probably blogs, just videos on things that I talk about in my blogs, so one coherent narrative to things like polyvagal theory and interoceptive and exteroceptive awareness, implicit, explicit memory, trauma informed, etc. Yeah, so that's all I have on Yoga Nidra, and yet this was the yoga that I primarily taught at a local hospital's behavioral health department for 3 years, and it was incredible to have feedback of clients saying, well, they were patients at that point because they were either in intensive outpatient treatment or partial hospitalization treatment or inpatients, and so it was really profound to have patients share with me, I can't sleep, I can't relax, I can't turn off my mind. And yet during that practice, I was able to take us to rest, or I was able to just be in that place of non-thought. So a beautiful, powerful practice. Yeah, that I love. And if Huberman is making it more accessible and getting more evidence-based practices, or getting more studies that are you know, um, confirm that by the evidence that these practices work. And great, more power to them. So, okay, that's all I'm going to say on Yoga Nidra. So, I'll join me in the next video. Thank you. Y'all are doing great. All right.